Okay, so hello and welcome back to another roguelike tutorial in Unity. In this one we're going to be making the player's health bar and basically this bit of the UI up here. We'll be leaving the ability stuff till later when we make an actual ability system. And if I have more time in this video, I'll also introduce the dashing mechanic. It won't be any of the dashing spells, it'll just be a dash, and then we can implement it later into all the different kinds of dashing spells that there are in the game. But you know, we're just slowly building up the mechanics until we get to the point where we can start making it look nice and adding cool things. So yeah, health bar with the health number. I might add this bar, but we're not going to actually implement it for now, but I might as well put it on. We could add a little thing to put the player's picture in later, but I won't bother with it. I'll just put it there ready. And then we can make a spacebar move, basically. Let's go. So, first of all, one thing I want to go and cover from last video is when I did the enemy shooting script, so enemy shooting, when I get the player's transform, there was actually a problem with that. I don't know if you noticed, but if I press play now, I didn't notice this problem last video, but I'm going to fix it now. If I move, they actually just shoot at my original location. Like, they take that as where I am for some weird reason. I think it's because of something to do with getting the transform instead of the game object. So if I say I want the game object player, but we're going to keep it a private variable, and we're just going to say we want to set the player equal to, then we can use this thing called find object of type, which basically looks into the scene and finds an object with this script on it. And luckily enough, the player is the only thing that's ever going to have player movement, so we can just go for that now. We might as well change. We might change it later. So this is basically saying we're going to find the object that has this script, but at the moment it's currently referring to the script itself. So if we want to find the game object, we'll just put .game object. So now we're referring to where the player, and then down here we should have to do .transform.position, and then .transform.position. And now if we go back, press play. If I stand here, they're going to shoot, and then I'll move. Well, as you see, basically, yeah, they do follow me. If I run down, they're going to go for me down here. Basically, if I stand still, I'm dead. Or I will die. Why am I printing this? That's where they're shooting. I can get rid of that, to be honest. Okay, so now that's fixed. Let's get into making the players thing. So let's go to the. Have we got any UI? We haven't actually got any UI, so let's create a canvas. So UI canvas. This is just going to be like UI overlay. I could put it on the game manager, but I'll have it as a separate object. And then this is just, canvas. Yeah, if we create a panel on it, it'll be screen sized. There we go. Let's go to the tool, this one, where we get to use UI stuff. And we're gonna say, just do whatever you want here, basically. You could actually make this transparent and just stick the stuff on it. I really don't care about how good or bad it looks for the sake of this. That's up to you to make it look good. So let's just add a UI. What do we want? We want a slider for health. So UI slider, and just like last time, we can do whatever we want with it. I'm just going to do some tweaking so we can get rid of the handle 0 0 0 0 0. And then now if I go to the slider script, we can fill it up and reduce it. If it's the player's health, then we can say the background can be some kind of gray, and then we'll say the fill is going to be red. There you go, it's the player's health, and it can go up and down. And then we want, what else do we want? I'll just call it health slider. Let's just put it up to full for now. Oh, actually, yeah, let's do this. And then what we'll do is we'll set the panel to a very, very faint thing so we can see a bit easier behind it. There we go. obviously, yeah, you can do all the centering of things and whatever. So put the slider centered on here. Now we also want some text on there to actually have the value of health. So let's go to the panel and add some UI text. Let's say, 50 out of 50, which is his default health. Do we want a best fit? No, let's just have it. We want it at the bottom so it can go higher. We want the text size to be a bit bigger like this. Want it to be white probably. Then we can also just scale it up a bit more. Font size. Make sure it doesn't go over the top. So now even if the player's on like 100 whatever out of whatever, it's still going to work. The only problem being, well, no, let's just put this as the full thing, to be honest, is what I'm going to do. The player's health should never be bigger than like this, so we could squeeze it to here, because in the actual game it's over to the side. Obviously, this is all up to you, how you position things. Don't know, it depends how you want it. I might just put it to the left, actually. Then I can put that there if I want to, so then it's, even if I had this much health, it would still like fit. So that's like that. Now let's just put another bar under it. This bar, so this is from the top, and we've gone down. Wait, so this height is 73. We've gone down to 37. What should we do with this one? Let's just put them both to the center, to be honest, for now, and then we can put this here. Why the hell not? Sorry, I'm spending too much time tweaking things. I'll just leave that. You can do whatever you want, and we'll make this bottom one so in the actual game, this bar is for your alt. So I'll just put alternate slider, and the fill area color thing can be some kind of bluey whatever. But we'll just leave this empty, because technically we don't have any of it yet. So there we go, it's empty. I should put a little bit in, whatever. Okay, that's all done. Now we just need to actually hook up the health text and the health slider. So if we go to the player stats, that's where we're going to control it. We want to be using the Unity engine.ui, so we can use sliders and text. We're going to have a public text, and it's going to be health text, and we're going to have a public slider health slider, and we're going to say, just like we did for the enemies, we'll say like when we start, we're going to say health slider dot value equals 1, because that's full, and then we'll say when we check for death and then we are fine, we'll say health slider dot value is equal to, and we'll say calculate health percentage, and that's a function we're going to make, and we're going to say that after we heal them, and that's actually the only time we need to do it, to be honest. We could even just do it there to be safe. And we're going to make our function down here. We want a bool calculate health percentage, and we're going to return health divided by max health. Wait, why'd I put bool? Silly me. We want a float returned. Okay, let's just test whether the slider works first, then we'll do the text. So on the game manager where we have the player script, we want to say, well, the health text is this, the health slider is this. Let's just have a go. There we go, it works. Good, good, good. Now we want the health to actually work. So whenever we do this checking, we want to say health text dot text, because it's the text part of the text. Because there's also other elements for the text. If we also have tag and rich text and overflow, so we want the text part, and we want to set it equal to a string which will be health dot, oh sorry, we want math f dot seal, which basically means round up. We want to round up our health, because if our health's like something point something, we don't want it to say that. We'll say we're going to round up health dot toString, and then we're going to say plus, we want out of plus max health dot toString. Our max health should always be an integer anyway, but we could also just say seal to be just to be safe. So let's go put that there, and let's have a look. So if we just take this and we do it after these, you know, actually no, one good thing to do when you end up copying and pasting codes all over the place is actually just to make a function to do it. So private void set health UI, and you could just literally put this and this in here, and then if we ever have any more, then we can just it's a lot better to use functions to do things when you are repeating things, rather than, you know, copy and pasting code all over the place. It's just a lot nicer. Now let's have a see if this works. Well, it's set our health to 50, and now we're on 1 health. And now we're dead. Okay, so it's -4. To be honest, the player would die and it would no longer do it anyway. We could just say, when we do this, if health is less than or equal to 0, health is equal to 0, just to stop the I don't know, ugly looking negative values of health, I guess. There we go. Okay, now we want to do the dashing, because it's 12 minutes in, 30 minutes. I can still have time for that. So let's get rid of the player stats. We only want the player movement. We want to take this and somehow add a way to dash. Now, in the end, we have a smooth dash animation. We're not doing that yet. We just want a way so the player can press spacebar and dash in the direction he's facing. Now, we're going to need to know which direction he's facing, even when he's not moving. So we're going to have an enumerator, which is basically a list of states you can be in. So if we have probably a private, but it might become public later, private enum, I'm going to say facing, and then we need to actually give it the values of what it can be doing. So we could say it could be, well, up. Oh no. Wait, do we have to write this in strings? I can't remember. Up. Maybe we do. Down. Left. right. What's the problem here? Why is it not liking my invalid token equals there we go. So if I then say by default it's facing down, right? So I don't think this is actually working, to be honest. Oh no, it is working because it says facing dot left, facing dot down. Okay, so we want a private variable for like holding the direction we're facing. So I want a private facing called facing direction. What's called facing there? And we can just set it equal to facing dot, and then we can set state by default as down, and it allows us to go between up, down, left, and right, and it'll store this variable here will store what we're currently facing. So we are facing down by default, I think. Where's our player? Here he is. Oh, he's actually facing left by default. It's best to probably put that then. Left. Okay. And then all we want to do basically is whenever we put in any direction we go, we want to say whenever we move up, we'll say facing the equals facing dot up, and then we'll just dot left dot down dot right. So basically now the code knows it has some way of storing what direction we're currently facing in. And that means that when we dash, even when we're staying still, we know we're just going to rely off this to tell us which direction to dash in. And then later on we can also have a way of dashing in like diagonals. I'll sort that out some other time. This video is getting on pretty quickly. So what do we want to do now is we want to say, well, we'll just have it in the input, we'll have it in the take input, I guess. Actually, yeah, because this is where input's taken. So we're actually going to put the dash script in an ability script later on when we get to abilities, but I'm just making it now as kind of like a placeholder, like making sure the mechanic works well, and then we can tweak the mechanic, then we can implement it properly before like jumping in too deep. That's why in my game like that I'm making, if you've seen that, I am making all the mechanics before making them look good. But, halfway along the way, you want to start making them look good, so it's fun to use whilst you're making them, so you have the motivation to carry on. We want to say if input.getKey down keycode dot space. What do we want to do? We want to say, well, let's have some. Do we need? No, we'll just do it here. We'll say, well, vector2 current pos is equal to transform dot position. So remember that converts our vector3 into a vector2 position. Then we also want a vector2 target position, which is where the dash is going to go to. We want a public float dash range. Tell us how far to go. Now let's think about this. So we want to know which, depending on this variable here, the enum, we want to go into a different direction. So I mean, there's probably a better way to do it, but just for now, I'm going to quickly go like if facing direction is equal to facing dot up, then we want to say current position, no, sorry. Well, if we say vector to target position, we'll just declare it then. We'll say target position is equal to transform dot position dot y, because it's on the up or down, and we want to add our dash range, and that's our new location. What's it saying here? Yeah, we'll say target pos dot y is equal to that, because this is target pos equals transform dot position as well, but we're gonna change the value. So we're gonna say, yeah, it's our position dot y. Well, actually no, we could just say plus equals the dash range. There we go. Then we'll say else if facing is equal to facing dot down. We'll basically do the same, but we'll minus it from the y. And then we'll say, we'll just, you know, copy this 2 more times. We'll say if we're facing up, down, left, right, then we'll add to the x, and then we'll reduce from the x. And then now we've got our current position, our target position. We want to do a transform dot translate, which is a function. We just want to pass in where we're going to, basically. So we want to go from where we are now to our we actually don't even need a current position. We just want a target position. We want to go to target position, or then that's a vector. Remember, that's a wait. Do we just want to go to target position? I feel like, yeah, because we've already done the dash range thing. So let's try this. Maybe this will work. I did this earlier and I did it a bit of a different way than how I've just done it now. Player movement dash range, we'll say 0.2 for now. Okay, that's fun. So basically every time we do it, it's going, okay. So whenever I press spacebar, we are setting this equal to the player's transform position. And then depending on which way we're facing, let's, here we'll go print facing direction. And then we'll also print transform dot position, because I'm having a feeling that the transform dot position isn't right for some reason. Every time I did the dash, it went big. All right, let's look at the console. So it knows which way I'm facing. That's okay. Then it's saying that 2.3. I'm doing something wrong somewhere in the maps. So I'm saying that the transform dot position is where we are, and the y component, we want to add the dash range to it. We want to move to our target position. Y, Y, X, X, up, down, left, right. If we're facing left, do this. But then if I change to the right when I press spacebar, I feel like what's going on is we're not actually getting the player's transform properly. We can actually test this. If we go onto the player, well, if I like move around a bit, if I dash right, that's the player's transformed dot position, and now the player's dead. That doesn't help. Let me just try that again. pause. The player, so it's saying now we're at like 6 thingy. Oh, that's where we were. We were at 0.1 on the X, then we're at 1.1, 2.8. So basically it keeps adding and then doing the dash. We're not actually resetting this target position each time. We're just like adding the dash range, adding to this value every time we dash. So if I go, see, a target position doesn't exist here, which is interesting. So if we make the Vector2 target position at the top, and then every time we run this, we'll say Vector2 current position equals transform dot position. So we're gonna get the player's position, and then we're gonna say actually this player movement script is on the player, so that's fine because it's where this object is. So the target pos is equal to vector3 vector2.0. That'll reset it just to make sure it's fine, and then we'll say see, here's the problem actually, because it's like vectors. All we want to do actually is we want to, sorry, let me just get rid of this. We want to see that the this multiplied by dash range, and then we want to basically change the vector. So target the position.y is equal to 1 is equal to -1 is equal to -1 is equal to 1. And then because we've got it 1, we can multiply by the dash range to know how far to go. And this should work, please, please. There we go, that works. Obviously my dash is on a very short cooldown now, and in the game it's basically like this, to be honest, but hey, yeah, whichever way I'm facing, it dashes in now, so I can dash around. And I've got my health bar as well. I can go around killing people. If I stand still, it actually does also do the dash in the direction I am currently facing in. So there you go. Okay, that's the video done. This was getting on a lot longer than I thought it would, but hey, we've covered the whole like UI health bar and getting the player's dash working depending on which way. We introduced enumerators and other things. I don't want the video to drag on much longer, so I'll just say the usual, you know, obviously if you want to see more of these videos, then like, subscribe, ask for what you want to see more of in the comments, and I'll make those kind of videos. And then also join our Discord if you want to, for, you know, help, and also leaving you know, ideas and having discussions on Unity and other things and whatever. Yeah, this video, I don't want it to really hit 30 minutes, so, you know, thanks for watching and goodbye.